Let's look briefly at some of the other tools. Now, when you're working at a narrow height like that, using this grouped tool isn't that useful for the range zone. I'm just going to zoom back a little bit. So we have the dedicated range tool with number 2, and we can always toggle the arrow key with this and the other tools by holding down Command, and that's Control on Windows. So of course you can make range selections here, and you can hold Shift, and you can then hold Command for the arrow key and then drag those, and that'll copy them. Now, when you're using these other tools and you hold down Command for the arrow key, it copies rather than moves. Just going to hit Command C to get rid of those. Now, a couple of other things to be aware of. You can hover your mouse over the right corner and resize your range selections. And when you do your dragging, they'll conform or snap based on your snap settings here, and we're at bar. So that's an easy way to resize them. Now, we can also split at the borders using Command, and that's the Control on Windows, with Alt and X. So with that range selected, I'm going to go Command Option X, and I've now split at the border there. I'm going to hit Command C to undo that. Now let's look at the split tool, and we hit 3 to get to that, and you can click on here and split an event as you would expect. And one special consideration to be aware of when we're working with instrument parts, this works with snap to grid, and if you cut in the middle of a note like this, I'm going to split it right there, you're going to see that what it's done is it's truncated the note at the split point, so it shortened it. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo. And what we can do is hold down the Alt key while we're splitting an instrument part, and it'll split the note rather than truncate it, so it'll exist across the split point. So for example, I have that long note there. If I Option click there, we'll see it's still existing on both sides. Same thing here. We haven't lost it. We've just split it. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo both of those. Let's look at the eraser tool. That's number 4. Click to erase. No surprise there. And you can click across multiple events like that and undo each one step at a time. We'll undo each one of those deletes. The paint tool is number 5, and that's used to create an empty part on an instrument track. So with this, I can click on here, for example, and just drag and create an empty part. Just going to hit delete. And with all of these, the Command key will toggle the arrow tool. And again, if I move it, it's going to copy it. And that's Control on Windows. So it's going to delete those. Now, next we have the mute tool, which we can get to with number 6. And we can click to mute and then click again to unmute. And you can drag to select a range and mute them all together. And an interesting related command, if you have muted events throughout your song, you can go under the edit menu. And one of the selection criteria is select muted events if you want to copy them all or delete them all or whatever. So another click, because they're all selected, will then unmute them all at once. We have the bend tool, which is number 7, and we'll look at that separately. It's to do with audio events, and we use it to edit and add and remove bend markers to manipulate the audio and the timing within the audio. But again, I'm not going to look at that right now in detail. Finally, we have number 8, the listen tool, which is a solo tool, and you just click and hold on any event and it'll solo it. So those are the main tools. I'm going to go back to 1 and we'll continue with more in the next video.